I am going to show you the teacher manual of Inspire Science. I want to just preface this by saying that I'm personally super excited for you that you are looking into Inspire Science and that you are starting to think about using this curriculum to teach science to your students. I have taught science the last 3 years of my teaching to Gen Ed, PLS, and ASR students. And I think it is so much fun. Science is one of my favorite topics to teach. So it is also just really complicated by nature. So when I show you this, it is going to look more complicated than other curriculums. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed or to stop before you even start, because it is worth it. This is a great resource. There's a lot of really good information in there. But it is just a little bit more complicated than some of the other subjects that you're used to teaching, okay? So in the website, we are going to go into course. And this will bring us right up to our module, okay? And we'll go into planning resources. And this is going to be the teacher edition for Unit 1. All right, so if we start at the very beginning, this is the cover of the book. So if you're looking at it in paper format, this is what it's going to look like. There is a ton of information in here. If I were to just click through each of these pages, it's got a lot. It's talking about all the different competencies. It's got scope and sequence. It's going to give you tons of different information about how to teach science and why we teach science and all of this different stuff, okay? But what I want to do is just kind of dig right into that first unit, forces in motion. So you will see this kind of color-coded system throughout. These are just the 3 kind of core competencies that we're looking at for science. We've got science and engineering practices, disciplinary core ideas, and then cross-cutting concepts. And so these are the areas that they are kind of addressing throughout all of the curriculum. And so that color-coding system will show up, just so that you know. More information about science. Here is that module planner that I showed you in the last video. And we're going to kind of dive into this a little bit more. And it will be really important. I'll show you kind of why it's important for you to just mark these and kind of think about this, okay? Because we do have multiple different options for how to teach this. And when you look at those options, it will have you skipping some of these lessons depending on how much time you have with your students, okay? All right, so it's got a little planner here for your inquiry activity, in case you decide to do that. It's going to have differentiated instruction materials. So these are little readers that they have. The language that they use is approaching level, on level, and beyond level. Our general education classrooms are usually using this blue on level book. A few of our students may use the beyond level, and a good portion of our kiddos will be using this approaching level. It's just like 1 to 2 grade levels below. We've got some English language support information here, which is again a good resource for our students with disabilities as well. And then here is the lesson plan. Okay, I'm going to skip this for now, because I want to show you. Okay, again, here's that color-coded system where it's got those different areas. So this is the lesson 1 kind of lesson at a glance. And so we've got 3 different options for how you are going to be teaching this. Now, if you've decided that your students really love science and you are going to do science 7 days a week, you are going to do this program with full fidelity, this would be the one that you use, okay? So this is 45 minutes per day, and if you were to do that for the full year, this is how you would look at the lesson plan and the activities throughout it, okay? This is what you would do. They also have a Flex Track A, which is for 30 minutes per day, 5 days a week. Okay, and so this is if you're only doing a little bit of science, and there's 7 days still in this lesson. Okay, so it'll take you essentially like 7 days to do this lesson, but you won't do it in one whole week, obviously. Okay, and then this is Flex Track B, which is actually what most of us are probably going to be doing. This is if we're doing science for 30 minutes a day and just 3 days per week. And this lesson will take you 4 days in order to complete, okay? And so what this is going to tell us is where to look within the curriculum. I'm just going to make this a little bit. Can I make it bigger? There we go. Where to look in the curriculum in order to kind of follow through this lesson, okay? And so if you are a gen ed teacher, this is maybe where you're going to look, because you're going to want to try and, give them as much of the general education science curriculum as you possibly can. If you're an ASR or a PLS teacher, you may not use, much of this kind of material. You may just want to look at the actual lessons and then extrapolate from there. So we've got day 1, and it's going to have us go to page 5 and use the card sorting strategy, call in a few students and ask them to give them answers and explain their reasoning. And then we're going to do pages 6 and 7, and we're going to watch the video Skydive, okay? And so that's going to tell us kind of where to go in the lesson plan. So page 5 and page 6 and 7 are going to be that first chunk of the lesson, okay? So this is where we're starting if we're using that flex plan or flex option B, okay? And so this is the lesson plan. This is the student workbook, which the general education classrooms should have. I am almost 100% positive that this is somewhere online for you guys to print out. I just don't know exactly where it is. So if you do want to print this specific, the work pages out, let me know and I can dig around and find it, okay? And then these are some little like science probes. You can just click on it, which is kind of cool, and it'll take you right there. I don't know. What am I doing here? Image navigator. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't take you there. Okay, I lied about that. Very sorry. Okay, so this particular activity is going to be 15 minutes, and then it's going to just give you some of the different activities that you're going to do. And then it also had us doing page 6 and page 7. So let's take a look at that. That's page 5. This is going through the lesson. Okay, and then you can see this is page 6 and 7. So this is the part that's kind of confusing, because they have, if we just go back, sorry guys, this is the introduction to the module, okay? So this is page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, lesson 1 right there, and then it's got this information in the middle, which is just super duper weird that this is how they decided to do it. But essentially, this is like, okay, you got lesson 1. Here's some stuff. Track the progress of your students. Garbage. And then here's the flex plan, and it's after that lesson page. So it's 6C and 6D. Then it moves on to page 6 and page 7. Okay, and so these are the next 2 pages that you would use in that flex planning document. Again, these are going to be in the student module or the student workbook. Yeah, and you can kind of go through. I don't know, maybe this is not super helpful for you guys. I really like looking at what the lesson plans said. If I were to be teaching science this year, what I would probably do is look at that pacing guide, start a document, and type out like the titles of the lessons, and then come in here and start pulling out some of the things that I like. Okay, so like what is the main idea that it's trying to kind of get me to think about? And then I would use maybe some of those visuals and some of the videos and things like that to get to that information. But I would also then probably find additional resources for teaching it as well. Okay. So this is kind of the lesson plan and how that's all laid out. Again, it's got the little pictures down here to show you, which additional activities they have online. It's got some fun little reading. Okay. I guess that's kind of all that I want to show you. Oh, so it does have this like engineering kind of, I don't know, this is the language that they use: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So that's kind of their like science language that they're using. I think that this is kind of what they were using when they have the kids actually like doing the experiments and stuff as well. So the engage is kind of like the introduction. The explore is going to be to kind of mess around with those concepts a little bit, explain what they're thinking, elaborate, and kind of extend it, and then evaluate. So you will see that language kind of throughout, and that's what that is all about. It's also got, little visuals here to help you know whether you're teaching the whole group, small group, or if there's like individual one-on-one practice. So, okay. So that is, oops, I'm kind of blown up here. That is the teacher edition, and kind of the lesson plan. I hope that wasn't too confusing. Of course, as always, please contact the academic department if you have any questions. If you look at this, if it's overwhelming, sit with it for a couple of days, come back to it, let us know what you're thinking. If you need more help, no rush. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.